What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to week 13 of the Axial Honcho budget build. This week we're covering a very important topic, and that is tire foams. Now, it took too long to get to this episode in the budget build because tire foams are incredibly important. And I'm not gonna lie, but I've already got them installed in these tires and wheels. I installed them when I was putting those new bead locks on, and I didn't want to take them off just 2 weeks after I had already installed them to install a new set of foams. Now, the foams that I installed on this truck are the Crawler Innovations Little Nova foam. Now, these are a dual stage foam, and from the looks of them, you can probably tell why. They've got an open cell foam outer and a closed cell foam inner. Now, that closed cell inner is much more rigid than this outer foam. Now, this is a soft version. On my truck, I'm running a soft front outer foam and a medium rear outer foam. The reason that you want to run a little bit more firm in the rear is because when you're trying to climb, your truck's weight transfers usually to those rear tires. You want that tire to stay a little bit more up to give you that effective wheelbase. Now, this inner foam is also the comp cut version, and what that means is it's got these grooves milled around the outside of that inner foam. And what those do is it basically just gives the outside of the tire a little bit more room to conform while still giving you the maximum amount of sidewall support. Now, the purpose of that closed cell inner is to give you a nice amount of support between the bead lock itself and where that open cell outer foam starts to transition. Now, there's different heights of these foams for different heights of your tire. You need to make sure that you pick the right size foam for your application. These foams also come with an outer tuning ring to give you just a little bit more adjustability if you feel like you need to fill up the outside of that tire just a little bit more. Now, the biggest debating point is always focused around the tire and wheel, and that's about venting. Now, venting your tire or wheel is essential to get your foams working properly. The argument always is that people don't like to vent their tire or wheel because they run in a lot of water. And I understand that, but you just have to understand that you are giving up performance just so that you don't get water into your tire and wheel setup. Personally, I always vent my tires. I put a small 1/8" diameter hole on 2 spots of the tire, basically. You can either do it with a pair of Lexan scissors or you can do it with a leather punch. Most of the time, I forget to make the hole before I install the tire, and I end up doing it with a pair of Lexan scissors. If I remember before I install them, I'll use the leather punch. This is not the full-size world. These tires are not constructed the same way a full-size tire is. So we have to use a foam to properly get these performing. This is not a Jeep running 4 PSI. You have to get past that this is not the same physics you're working with in the full-size world. So that gimmicky air systems or running sealed tires with no foams, you're not going to get the optimum performance. You'll still see people saying that's what they run and the performance is great. And the performance may be great to them, but that may be because they've never ran a really well-tuned tire foam wheel combo. You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to figure out a decent set of foams. You can just get a good starting point and go from there. You may notice that your tires fold a little bit too much for you still, or that your tires sag a little bit more than you'd like during normal running. Well, the next time you build a truck or the next time you change tires or just want to change the foams up, then just step up a firmness or make some choices, choose a different type of foam. But you won't learn and you won't understand the optimum types of setups without a little bit of personal experience. Personal experience is the most important thing. You need to experience this, feel how it drives, understand if you want something a little bit different. Maybe your rig is set up just a little bit different because everybody's is. But there's really still good rules of thumb you can go by to get yourself a really decent starting place. This episode of the budget build is always one of my favorite, and that's because I do like to have a strong opinion about things, because I do like to have a little bit of a debate with people. I understand that everyone runs in different conditions and they think that their truck is a little bit different than everyone else's, and that's why their foamless, sealed, air pressured tires work better. I implore you next time to try a setup that has been proven to work well for other people, and you'll likely find that it works even better for you. And that's about as exciting of an episode as I feel I can make about foam that you put in your tiny truck's tires. So with that, before we go, I do have one other suggestion, and that is to pick up one of the cell block stands. You'll see that I use them every week. I use them in almost every video, and it's just because of how handy they are. I probably have over a dozen of these things around the shop. Basically every truck I have is sitting on one. They're just incredibly handy to have around the shop. I can't suggest them enough. If you're already shopping for some Crawler Innovations foams, I suggest doing the add-on and picking up a cell block. And with that, let's wrap up week 13 of the Honcho budget build. Make sure to go check out Matt's video over at the Scale Builders Guild, where this week he's installing that new Night Custom 3D printed front grille for the Honcho, which I also have a version of here in the shop. You will see soon as well. As always, thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, please, if you're not already. And I'll see you on the next one.